Welcome back, viewers. This time we bring you an in-depth look into the lives of the men and women who once stood beside the Prince of Darkness himself, Ozzy Osbourne. For decades, Ozzy has been the face of heavy metal, known for his wild stage antics, unique voice, and a lifestyle that often bordered on self-destruction. But behind the spotlight stood a circle of friends and collaborators, each with their own story, some triumphant, some tragic. In this exclusive report, we will uncover what has happened to 10 of Ozzy's most important friends and colleagues, from his earliest days with Black Sabbath to the musicians and companions who joined him on his solo journey. You will hear of friendships that have endured decades, professional bonds that were tested by fame and money, and heartbreaking farewells to those who left this world far too soon. Stay tuned as we reveal where they are now, how their lives have unfolded, and how their relationships with Ozzy have evolved over time. This is not just a story about rock and roll, it is a chronicle of loyalty, betrayal, redemption, and legacy, told through the lens of those who shared the stage, the tour bus, and the chaotic backstage moments with one of rock's most enduring legends, Tony Iommi, the riff master of Black Sabbath. In the annals of rock history, few partnerships have been as influential, or as turbulent, as the one between Ozzy Osbourne and guitarist Tony Iommi. As founding members of Black Sabbath, their names are forever linked to the creation of heavy metal's dark, crushing sound. Tony, with his innovative riff writing, overcame a life-changing industrial accident that cost him the tips of 2 fingers, forcing him to invent a unique playing style. Throughout the 1970s, he and Ozzy led Sabbath to global fame, but tensions grew as success brought not only money and adulation but also excess and addiction. By 1979, the relationship reached a breaking point, resulting in Ozzy's dismissal from the band, a move that shocked fans worldwide. Yet, over the years, the frost between them thawed. They reunited for multiple tours and even recorded together again, proving that mutual respect and shared history could outlast old grudges. Today, Tony Iommi remains an active figure in music, focusing primarily on studio work and occasional live appearances, though his pace has slowed due to a public battle with cancer, from which he is now in remission. He speaks fondly of his renewed friendship with Ozzy, often appearing alongside him at events and interviews, showing that even in a career filled with dramatic turns, reconciliation is always possible for those bound by music and history as deeply as these two legends. Geezer Butler, the mysterious lyricist. If Tony Iommi gave Black Sabbath its musical spine, then bassist Geezer Butler gave it its lyrical soul. Known for crafting dark, thought-provoking lyrics that delved into themes of war, social decay, and the occult, Geezer was an essential counterpart to Ozzy's voice. Offstage, the two shared a bond forged during their working-class upbringing in Birmingham, England, and later tested by the chaos of fame. In the early years, they traveled together from gig to gig, surviving on meager earnings before Sabbath exploded onto the international scene. The 1970s saw them riding high on success but also sinking into the same whirlpool of substance abuse that plagued so many rock stars of the era. Despite the challenges, Geezer's role in the band never wavered until Ozzy's departure. In later years, Geezer balanced his work in Sabbath reunions with other projects, including collaborations with other rock legends. Now semi-retired, he spends most of his time in the United States, enjoying family life while occasionally granting interviews or contributing to documentaries on heavy metal's history. While he no longer tours extensively, Geezer's impact on rock is undeniable, and his relationship with Ozzy remains cordial, a testament to the fact that some bonds, though stretched thin by time and distance, are never truly broken. Bill Ward, the drummer who disappeared. Among the founding members of Black Sabbath, drummer Bill Ward brought a distinctive swing and jazz-infused feel to the heavy, ominous riffs that defined the band's sound. His drumming was the heartbeat behind Ozzy Osbourne's haunting vocals and Tony Iommi's guitar onslaught. Yet, behind the music, Bill's journey was marked by personal battles that would eventually push him away from the spotlight. In the early years, his camaraderie with Ozzy was built on youthful dreams and shared struggles, but also on the dangerous lifestyle that came with rock superstardom, late nights, hard partying, and substance abuse. By the 1980s, Ward's health began to falter, the years of excess catching up to him with alarming speed. He suffered multiple health scares, including heart attacks, and eventually stepped back from the relentless demands of touring. Attempts to reunite the full original Sabbath lineup were marred by disputes over contracts and his ability to keep up with grueling performance schedules. In interviews, Ward has expressed both love for his bandmates and lingering disappointment over not being included in later projects. Today, he lives a more private life, occasionally recording solo material and connecting with fans online. His relationship with Ozzy is complicated, defined by deep history, moments of public disagreement, but ultimately underpinned by mutual respect. For fans, Billboard's story is a reminder that even the most celebrated musicians are not immune to the toll of decades in the rock and roll trenches. Randy Rhoads, talent gone too soon. In the narrative of Ozzy Osbourne's career, the chapter featuring guitarist Randy Rhoads stands out as both exhilarating and heartbreaking. Joining Ozzy in the early 1980s, Randy was a virtuoso whose innovative blend of heavy metal and classical technique revitalized Ozzy's solo work after leaving Black Sabbath. Albums like Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a Madman showcased his dazzling skill and unique compositions, helping to establish Ozzy's solo identity. Offstage, Randy was markedly different from the stereotypical hard-living rocker. Disciplined, focused, and often acting as a grounding influence on Ozzy's more chaotic tendencies. Their partnership was short-lived, however, when tragedy struck on March 19, 1982. During a tour stop in Florida, Randy died in a plane crash at just 25 years old, an event that left Ozzy devastated and forever changed. In the years since, Ozzy has spoken often of Randy's impact, choking back tears even decades later, describing him as not only the best guitarist he ever played with but also one of the kindest souls he ever knew. Randy's legacy continues to inspire generations of guitarists, his recordings standing as a testament to a career cut far too short. His absence left a void in Ozzy's music and life that has never truly been filled, making Randy Rhoads one of the most poignant figures in the Prince of Darkness's storied past. Zakk Wylde, the protege who became family. When a young Zakk Wylde stepped into Ozzy Osbourne's band in the late 1980s, it marked the beginning of a partnership that would last decades and become one of the most celebrated in metal history. Discovered after sending in a demo tape, Zakk's raw talent, towering stage presence, and deep southern charm quickly made him a fan favorite. His searing guitar solos and unmistakable tone revitalized Ozzy's sound during albums like No Rest for the Wicked and No More Tears, and his bond with Ozzy grew beyond music, evolving into a brotherly friendship. Over the years, Zakk left Ozzy's band at various points to focus on his own project, Black Label Society, but he was never far away. Each return felt like a homecoming, with fans welcoming him back to the fold. In interviews, Zakk often refers to Ozzy as a father figure, and Ozzy has repeatedly expressed his affection for Zakk, praising his loyalty and musicianship. Today, Zakk continues to tour and record prolifically, balancing his commitments to his own band with appearances alongside Ozzy. Their enduring relationship is rare in an industry where creative partnerships often dissolve under the weight of egos and pressures. For fans, Zakk Wylde embodies the ideal of a musical protege who not only learned from the master but also became an integral part of his extended family. Sharon Osbourne, the wife and manager who saved him. In the chaotic and often self-destructive life of Ozzy Osbourne, Sharon Osbourne stands as both a stabilizing force and a strategic mastermind. Meeting Ozzy while working for her father, who managed Black Sabbath, Sharon eventually took over Ozzy's solo career after his dismissal from the band in 1979. Under her guidance, Ozzy transformed from a potentially washed-up frontman into one of heavy metal's most enduring solo acts. Sharon orchestrated tours, negotiated record deals, and even launched the Ozzfest Festival, which became a cornerstone of the metal touring circuit. Beyond business, Sharon was Ozzy's anchor through decades marked by addiction, health crises, and public scandals. Their marriage, often under the glare of the media spotlight, survived infidelity and personal turmoil, and was even broadcast to millions through the reality show The Osbournes, which offered an unfiltered look at their unconventional family life. Sharon herself became a celebrity, serving as a television host, talent show judge, and outspoken personality in her own right. Today, she continues to manage Ozzy's affairs while pursuing her own media career. Theirs is a partnership that has weathered storms both personal and professional, and Sharon's influence on Ozzy's survival and success is undeniable. Without her, it is hard to imagine the Prince of Darkness enduring as long as he has in a business that often devours its brightest stars. Lemmy Kilmister, the wild partner. When it comes to Ozzy Osbourne's friends, few embodied the raw spirit of rock and roll like Ian "Lemmy" Kilmister, the gravel-voiced frontman of Motorhead. Their friendship, built on mutual respect and a shared appetite for chaos, began in the late 1970s and endured until Lemmy's passing. Lemmy co-wrote several songs with Ozzy, including the hits Mama, I'm Coming Home, and Hellraiser, blending his gritty lyricism with Ozzy's distinctive delivery. Offstage, the two were infamous for their marathon drinking sessions and late-night escapades, yet behind the debauchery was a deep and genuine camaraderie. Lemmy's unfiltered honesty was something Ozzy valued immensely. In interviews, Ozzy often recounted how Lemmy never sugar-coated his opinions, whether about music, business, or personal choices. This candor, coupled with Lemmy's larger-than-life personality, made him a fixture in Ozzy's life for decades. Tragically, in December 2015, Lemmy died just days after being diagnosed with cancer, sending shockwaves through the rock community. Ozzy paid tribute to his friend with heartfelt words, calling him one of the most honest, loyal, and kind people he had ever known. The loss marked the end of an era for Ozzy, as Lemmy represented not only a collaborator but also a link to the wilder, unrestrained days of heavy metal's rise. Even years later, Ozzy speaks of Lemmy with a mixture of sadness and gratitude, ensuring that his friend's spirit and contributions remain immortalized in the annals of rock history. Rob Trujillo, from Ozzy's band to Metallica. Before becoming the powerhouse bassist for Metallica, Robert Trujillo cut his teeth on some of the biggest stages in the world alongside Ozzy Osbourne. Joining Ozzy's band in the late 1990s, Rob brought a dynamic, athletic stage presence and a deep groove that reinvigorated the live performances. His time with Ozzy saw him contributing to the 2001 album, Down to Earth, and participating in extensive world tours, where his ability to command the stage made him a fan favorite. Unlike some of Ozzy's past collaborators, Rob was known for his laid-back demeanor, professionalism, and adaptability, traits that made him an asset in the often unpredictable world of touring with Ozzy. In 2003, Rob was recruited by Metallica, a career move that propelled him to new levels of fame and secured his place among the elite of heavy metal bassists. Despite moving on, Rob has maintained a fondness for his time with Ozzy, often crediting those years with helping him hone his skills and stagecraft. For Ozzy, Rob's tenure represented a period of renewed energy, as the bassist's youth and enthusiasm injected fresh life into the performances. Today, while Rob's commitments with Metallica keep him busy, the mutual respect between him and Ozzy remains, with both men occasionally reminiscing about their time together. Rob Trujillo's journey from Ozzy's sideman to a central figure in one of the world's biggest rock bands stands as a testament to his talent, work ethic, and ability to thrive in the upper echelons of the music industry. Jake Lee, the forgotten guitar hero. Jake Lee's chapter in Ozzy Osbourne's career is one of brilliance, creativity, and controversy. Brought in to fill the enormous void left by the death of Randy Rhoads, Jake faced the daunting task of winning over fans who still mourned the loss of their guitar hero. With his fiery solos and blues-infused style, he helped shape the sound of Ozzy's mid-1980s output, most notably on the albums Bark at the Moon and The Ultimate Sin. His playing was not only technically impressive but also deeply emotive, giving Ozzy's music a fresh edge during a transitional period. However, behind the scenes, tensions began to mount over songwriting credits and management decisions, with Jake claiming in later interviews that he was denied proper recognition and compensation for his contributions. These disputes ultimately led to his departure from Ozzy's band, and for many years, Jake largely disappeared from the mainstream rock scene, leaving fans wondering what had happened to him. In recent years, he resurfaced with his band Red Dragon Cartel, reclaiming his place in the guitar world and sharing his side of the story in various interviews. While his relationship with Ozzy remains cordial, there has been no serious talk of a reunion. Jake Lee's tenure may have been relatively short compared to other guitarists in Ozzy's band, but his influence on the music of that era is undeniable, and for many fans he remains one of the most underrated guitarists to have ever shared the stage with the Prince of Darkness. Gus G, the new generation. In the ever-evolving lineup of Ozzy Osbourne's band, Greek guitarist Gus G represented a new generation of talent. Joining in 2009, Gus stepped into a role previously held by legends like Zakk Wylde and Randy Rhoads, bringing his own brand of precision and melodic flair. Known for his work with the power metal band Firewind, Gus impressed Ozzy with his technical skill and ability to seamlessly adapt to the diverse range of material in the setlist, from Sabbath classics to Ozzy's solo hits. His contributions can be heard on the 2010 album Scream, where his sharp, modern guitar tone added a contemporary edge to Ozzy's sound. Touring extensively with Ozzy, Gus quickly proved himself to be more than just a hired hand, earning the respect of fans and critics alike. However, his time with Ozzy was relatively brief. By 2017, Zakk Wylde had returned to the fold, and Gus shifted his focus back to Firewind and his solo career. Despite the short tenure, Gus G left an indelible mark on Ozzy's later career, injecting youthful energy and a modern sensibility into the music. In interviews, Gus has spoken with nothing but admiration for Ozzy, describing him as a generous mentor and a legend whose work ethic inspired everyone around him. For Ozzy, Gus was proof that the spirit of heavy metal continues to thrive in the hands of talented younger musicians, ensuring that the legacy he helped build will carry on into future generations. And there you have it, 10 stories of friendship, collaboration, and the unpredictable twists of life in the orbit of Ozzy Osbourne. From the early days of Black Sabbath to the modern era, these individuals have shaped, challenged, and supported the Prince of Darkness in ways that have left a lasting impact on both his career and the history of rock itself. Some, like Tony Iommi and Zakk Wylde, remain close allies, their bonds weathering the storms of decades in the music industry. Others, like Randy Rhoads and Lemmy Kilmister, are remembered with reverence and sorrow, their contributions immortalized in the music they helped create. Still others, like Jakey Lee, Rob Trujillo, and Gus G, represent different eras and styles, each leaving their own unique imprint. Together, they form a tapestry of talent, loyalty, and human complexity that reminds us that behind every legend is a circle of people who help shape their story. For Ozzy Osbourne, those stories are filled with triumph, loss, redemption, and the unbreakable bond of shared passion for music. This has been your in-depth report on the Friends of Ozzy Osbourne, where they came from, where they are now, and how they will forever remain a part of rock history. Thank you for watching, and discover more fascinating stories in our channel's playlist.